Greeting, Patrick here, 8 questions with, and we are back in our regular slot. Wow, man. So as we're speaking, Hurricane Milton is hitting Florida and packing quite a punch. Several tornadoes have touched down. People are starting to lose power. Um, People have lost homes already. It's a bad one. It's a bad one. So a lot of people, a lot of people down there that we know and we care about. Um, our guest for tomorrow night, Diana Garro, actually lives in Florida, so we'll be keeping her in our thoughts and prayers as well because, um, yeah, uh, it's it sucks. Really, what it does, it really sucks. Really sorry for everybody get caught up down in there. Um, Yeah, Florida is taking it on its chin, that's for sure. The only thing we can really hope for, and I'm not even sure exactly when it's supposed to end or if it ends, but we'll definitely hope that this is the last storm of the current hurricane season. Um, I don't know how much more they can handle. Um, I mean, 2 weeks between storms is not that big it's not that big of a span. You've seen the damage. You're looking at months, if not years of cleanup ahead. So, and every single storm adds to it. So, just really hoping for the best for everybody. Stay safe. I've heard some people ping me and tell me that they're okay, and I appreciate that, letting me know. Uh, um, I could probably end up talking to everybody all night, and that might happen. That might have to happen. I'm just really, really concerned. Um, I'm supposed to go at the end of this show tonight. I'm supposed to head on over to the House of Horrors to help Steven with this interview with Joe Lynch because he might be one of those that's experiencing power shortage. We'll see how that goes. I mean, if we can make it happen, we can. If not, we'll have to definitely have to see. We'll have to reschedule with Joe for another date. And the same thing with me for tomorrow with Diana. I'm going to let her know that, hey, if she needs to take tomorrow off, then by means, don't feel that you have to do an interview when your whole world around you is being pounded. Uh, yeah, not on my behalf. Um, yeah, just um, I do want to thank everybody who came out this afternoon, though, for our interview with fashion designer uh, Roseanne uh, um, Rosanna McNamee from She and X. That was a lot of fun. Uh, let's see. Tampa is getting the worst. I'm so glad about it. I'm so glad about it. I have thoughts to everyone. Oh, I'm still good. I think I'm safe besides any rain. So yeah, so I guess the storm jinked a little bit south and it's hitting the Tampa metro area pretty good. So Stevens has said that he looks good for tonight. So that'll be good. That's good. And you know what? We sort of need something like this tonight. Talking to our good friend Nicole Butler Vegas. That'll be good talking to her. So we get some entertainment, get some distractions going on. Um, yeah, and if you know anybody down in Florida, if you know friends or family down there, by all means, check up with them. Check up with them on social media first. Don't tie up the phone lines if you can help it. As far as that goes, phone lines. So I'm sure that's being overwhelmed down there. But if you can check on social media and see if how people are doing, highly recommend that. Uh, all right. Hey, Anthony is here and Steven is here. All right, all right. See, Anthony's going to the library tomorrow after work. That's awesome. That's awesome. Get some goodies. All right. So, like I said today, our guest today is an actress and a producer and a publicist. She also is a interviewer. Nicole, I met Nicole about 2.5 years ago. She was on the show. Um, I can't wait to get into this with her. She's pretty amazing, and she's really has embraced the acting and just let it all go. She has no more. Well, okay, maybe one slight inhibition still left, but she is not afraid to play dress up. She has done some really fun films as of late. She has done Desert Fiends, which is coming out. She is working on a movie called The Farmhouse Murders, Alien Horde, Clown Motel, Three Ways to Hell, which I think is the picture we have of her with the big swag, Brett Wagner, the Lost Leatherface. Um, and Clown Motel, Three Ways to Hell. She has Skate to Hell, which is coming out here in a minute. And an original movie, which just, this is see, this could never have happened 2 years ago. When I first met, if I would have told Nicole in 2.5 years, she would have been starring in movies like Swamp Squatch, um, Skate to Hell, Clown Motel. She would have just slammed the door in my face. There's just no way in hell that she would ever saw herself doing something like this. Um, but here she is, and she got some really cool. She got some school screen names. She's not only she acted in these movies, but she's also acting as a producer. She has over a dozen credits to her name as far as being a producer goes. So she is chopping it up. She is having a lot of fun. Uh, there is the Mighty Buds, um, right there. Sue, how are you? How are you? Um, so hopefully everybody's doing well. Everybody's doing well tonight. Well, everybody outside of Florida, of course. Hope uh, hopefully everybody's doing safe. Um, so let me tell you what's going on in the old calendar. All right, so tomorrow we're scheduled. I'm not even sure if it's the. I might not even. I have to. I'll leave it up to her, of course. But it looks like tomorrow, if everything goes to schedule, we'll have actress Diana Garro will be here with us tomorrow night from the new movie Nine Windows, and she also has another movie out that is doing very well called Serenade Charade, and that will be tomorrow night at 8 o'clock. Friday night, we're packing our bags and heading to the Mad Bloods to hang out with Mr. Dan and Horror, as we will be talking all things The Fugitive, at least the pilot episode. The Fugitive came out in the 60s. It was done by Quinn Martin and starred David O'Hara and Barry Morse. Barry Morse would end up doing Space 1999. So that was interesting, right? Um, and the last episode of The Fugitive, where he finally catches his killer or his wife's killer, at that time set a record for the most viewership on any American dramatic television show. Um, and of course, many people today know The Fugitive from the two movies that Tommy Lee Jones did, The Fugitive, which he did with Harrison Ford, and then he did the sequel to that called U.S. Marshals, which starred Robert Downey Jr. and of course Tommy Lee Jones. So we'll be talking about The Fugitive on Friday night at about 8 o'clock. Hopefully they'll put a banner up and I'll flash it on my community tab. All right. So that's what's going on this week. Next week is busy, busy, busy. We have artist Meredith the Great will be with us on the 15th. She is based down in Texas, and she is a very, very good painter, a very good artist, and we'll be talking to her. She asked me to send her a comic book character that I liked, so I sent her my second favorite character. I hope she can draw it. I'm sure she can. I think it's gonna probably look badass as hell. On the 16th, Ron Bonk will be here with us, the owner and operator of SRS Cinema. They put out some really, really fun movies, and Ron is the one that makes sure that they all happen. Uh, they do a lot of international distributions. In fact, they're one of the few distributors, American distributors, they're actually doing kaiju films. So I know that Mighty Casey just got done doing a review of one, um, and I'm glad they're still making them. I'm still glad they're making kaiju films. The films that they have the look of the '60s about them, um, and that's not a bad thing. I'm sort of glad. I'm sort of glad they still look like the '60s. Um, let's see. I'm waiting for him to show. I was waiting for you to show up. Let's see. How about them Yankees and Mets? Crazy. Yeah. Well, right now the Phillies are struggling. They need to get off their schneid if they're going to make it through. I personally would like to see a Subway Series. I don't know if the Yankees are strong enough to get to the Subway Series. Quite honestly, if we had a different manager, I would sit there and say yes. But we have Aaron Boone as a manager, and I don't think we're going to make it. I think Aaron Boone is terrible. He's a terrible manager. Um, And if the Yankees don't make it, by God, I hope the Tigers do. What a great run they've had. Holy crow, the Tigers out of nowhere, out of nowhere, the Tigers are taking it to the Cleveland. Um, all right. So next week we have Meredith the Great on next Tuesday on the 15th. Um, Ron Bonk on the 16th. On the 17th, we have young actress and model. In fact, she has won. She also does beauty pageants. In fact, she did win Miss Massachusetts on the petite class. And I'll also talk to, and she is also an actress as well. Her name is Katrina Kusa, and she'll be here next Thursday, the 17th at 8 p.m. Yeah, she is only 20 years old, but she is a powerhouse. She has so many irons in the fire. But luckily, she is backed by her mom. Her mom is a really, really strong supporter and a friend to Katrina. And with a mom and daughter powerhouse duo like that, that's cool as hell. Can't wait to talk to Katrina about her career, and she'll be here next week on the 17th. On the 19th, on the 19th, I have to put this down because I forgot to do this. So on the 19th, we will be hosting Joe Cornette again. Joe Cornette is a screenwriter and actor and director who has produced and directed and starred in the franchise, the Rio Bravo franchise, and some other westerns. Well, Joe will be back with us on the 19th as a published author. He has written a book called A Prayer for the Damned, and which is a novel. Plus, he's got some other stories. It's sort of like an anthology type story. And he will be here to talk about his brand new book that came out on Henry Gray Publishing. And he'll be here on the 19th Saturday for a matinee show at 4 p.m. 4 p.m. Eastern time. All right, the doorbell has rang. You know what that means. That means we go get the person who's been waiting for us. We never make anybody wait. And relax, grab something cold to drink, and we're gonna have a good time with our guest, Nicole Butler Vegas. And here we go.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much for having me back.
Oh my gosh, this
There's
is
so much in between that's happened, hasn't there?
oh my gosh. I'm just thinking, wow, the last time you and I talked to right now, of all the guests I've had on this show, and I've had over 500 now, honest to heaven, I don't think I've ever seen a bigger change in anybody.
Thank you.
Um,
In a
I,
good
I
way, right? I
oh, it's
hope.
a great one. It's a
Thank
great
you.
one. I mean,
Thank you.
last time we talked, I mean, it was really good. It was really fun. Um, but it was like it was just like I didn't see it coming. Um,
I
I just
didn't
thought,
either.
a real serious actress, really into her craft. You had mentioned how you had sort of gotten hooked into playing, military and law enforcement, and I suggested the femme fatale. You said hell no. Still saying that. But 2.5 years later, here you are in a clown outfit.
Oh,
Yeah,
the Killer Clown Saber Sparkles. Yeah, I had the
yeah.
opportunity to work with Joseph Kelly in Clown Hotel 3, and he did let me have, like, he did want something that had similar to like Harley Quinn, but not her look. So I came up with the green hair and the rainbow contacts, and I was put as a perk. So I had 5 people buy perks with me, and they were happy with their kills. Who knew that it would turn out so well? A lot of opportunities bring different changes and opportunities to do more in that kind of field.
It's funny. It's funny too, Nicole. It's like when you and I talked the first time, and I kept on saying, you're leading lady type. You have the leading lady type look about you. I
Thank
mean,
you.
you look like you could be the leading lady. Like a dramatic role, mystery. Like I said, I mean, I think you'd be a great villainess. I think you would, like Kathleen Turner or Sharon Stone. I remember suggesting that the first time, and you're going like, but now here, now I don't think you're that. So I don't think you're looking at it that way.
I was just so new. I don't know exactly when. I should look back because right now I have like 2 days, and then I fly out for a feature film called Alien Horde with Michael and Sonny Mahal, and I'll be out there for 2 weeks in California. So you know what I mean? It's like that crunch time is coming, and you're trying to
Hmm.
balance everything out. When I was new, I did not know the process. I did not understand uh, all the layers that are into showbiz. There's a lot of layers and a lot of work, energy, money, everything. I mean, you have to give everything, and you have to learn different techniques and character building and character development. There's a lot to it there, and hopefully you get a good director that'll help direct you. And if not, you better figure things out so it looks good. Um, had fun though. Saber Sparkles. I actually did a trademark on her, so
Okay,
maybe
good.
something down the road I'll make a movie with her in it, and she'll be the main character and kind of originate where she came to be in that.
Why
Yeah.
not? Why the hell not, right? I mean, you must have had just so much fun putting up all the makeup on there. And like I said,
Makeup. It was
I
a lot white makeup. No, I was white for days. Like I couldn't get everything I touched in the car was white. Everything. You knew exactly where I was because there would be
yeah,
white smudges from being a clown in that. But I did like breaking bottles over the head or shooting a gun and something getting blown off and sawing someone's leg and cutting someone's neck, and it's fun.
hmm,
But you have to set it up, and you got to make the scene safe. And
sure.
it's usually a one and done. Usually, like once the person starts bleeding, you can't redo it. That is it. So hopefully, you discuss it, and once it goes, you go with it. And then they seemed like they were happy. The guy seemed very happy. With how they met their end with me. Well, not actually me. It was Saber Sparkles. So yeah,
Now you didn't go method on them, right? Did you tell them that your name on the set is Sprinkles?
Sparkles, because she
Sparkles,
wears this sparkly jumpsuit, and Joe Kelly had Saber, but I was like, Saber Sparkles because she's sparkly and she's
right?
playful, but then also sadistic and can still kill you and have fun with a smile. Because
Mhm.
clowns, and especially in movies that have to do with horror, I mean, there's different layers to that too, like the terror, the gore, the jump scares.
I don't
There's
think
a lot of techniques.
I don't think you had done a horror film when the first time you and I talked. I
When
don't
was
think
it? Do you know exactly when that was, and I could place it? 'Cause I didn't. I
about two
didn't.
and a half years about 2.5 years ago. I'll send you the interview.
Yeah. So I've been in it now. February of next year, of like February 23rd, will be my 4-year mark in
Yeah.
showbiz. So when I went in, I did get on SAG sets, but I was still non-union at the time. So even if they gave me lines and they put me in these scenes because they liked my look or energy or whatever it was, I got very fortunate in that. They still wouldn't then they would uncredit me or take away the lines, like edit it out because I was non-union. Now that I'm SAG, it's yeah, I just recently went SAG. So if I'm working with non-union, then I think there's like loopholes because this is a right to work state. And if you're a producer of it, I think you can kind of navigate with the non-union films as far as I know.
Yeah, I
But
think
I
there's
don't
two
know for
different
sure because I
levels,
never got a
right?
packet from SAG. I got a SAG card that was $3,000 and nothing else. So
Yeah, ain't that something? Yeah, three
yeah, where's
thousand.
my welcome pack?
You had to pay $3,000 to join the union.
So $3,000 for that, and I think it's biannual $250, which I found out the SAG card is expired on the 31st of this month. So I'm like, really? But it
Yeah,
doesn't. It just gave me the card. It didn't give me any details of what it tells you or what it entails. So I don't know why they would just give somebody that's new a card and then not give you a packet of what to expect or what to look out for or what kind of opportunities it is if you're SAG.
and I thought you kept your membership based on what you did for work. Like as long as you had projects going, like I thought it was like if you hadn't worked in it between now and a year from now, then it would expire. But as long as you kept working, and because you notify that I'm working on a set, as long as you kept working and you let them know, I thought your card would just roll along with that.
The pay and you got to keep up on your dues or you won't have a valid SAG card. You will be outstanding member, which isn't good. So no, you are going to pay one way or another in this showbiz, huh?
Yeah,
So get to work. So when
yeah,
people are like, oh, you've done so much more than me, then get to work. Cause I didn't get any, I recently had time off, which felt great. Cause I was working full time too, up until July, like at this building security outside cooking. I was cooking myself. They had me posted outside a lot because I was worried about the government shutdown and all that with my husband. So I stepped up and trying to work full time, which I was, and having no days off. So I either picked up gigs from like Julie Goldman or David Anthony Prada or extra hours at the work. And then I have my family. And then I put together and helped with Skate to Hell. That was the second feature film that I helped put together. So it was like no days off. I was like, man, I hope this is, when you're going through that and you're like, I hope it's worth it. I was like, is this worth it? I was like, what is all this sacrifice? But to show that you can do the work and people know they can count on you,
yeah.
speaks magnitudes of when people know, like, if you're a part of something, like truly a part of it. Not, I have to be careful now. There's people that are trying I have a micro name this much, and they're trying to use me for other things. So I had to put for Nicole Vegas, like an LLC and a trademark for that too, because you do
Gosh,
have to be careful.
we already saw that how people had tried to do that. You had started a Facebook group, and someone came in and pretty much took it over based on your name there. And you had to restart another group because someone came in there and you told them to stop.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, it
Yep.
does
There's a lot of
happen that
things that
way.
go on that, and you don't get warned. And like in the beginning, I had people say, well, good luck. It's going to take a long time, like 8 years. And I made a joke that I was like, do I get a senior discount for that? Because that's all I'll be, And I think if you have good work ethic and you do the training, like acting coaches do help. I was in stunts for a while, and then I recently found I don't really want to go into that too much, enough to learn. Like I could do a little bit on my own, but if it was something dangerous, obviously they would have to have like a stunt double in there to be careful, because you have to be careful. Stunt work is a lot of work. And then I did the red carpet events. I did enjoy that for a while. Um, but I'm interested in Alien Horde with the Mahals coming up this weekend. And then I have Marriage Bites with Ashley Hartgrove. I don't know if you are able to connect with her yet,
I
but
did.
she's been working her butt off. I give her so much credit. She's doing a micro SAG, which is a lot of paperwork, and she's doing it the right way. And I love putting spotlights on people that actually do care and do things the right way. Because there's a
Yeah,
lot of people that
Ashley definitely is a hard worker. That's for sure.
don't.
She's not afraid to get her hands dirty, and that's my thing. I look for that's my kind of actress. My kind of actress. My favorite kind of actress is one who isn't afraid to get dirty. Literally, like roll
Yeah.
around in the dirt. put on clown makeup and a green wig. You know, it's so cool to see the evolution. You first started and it was really buttoned down and real proper, and next thing you know, now, you know, if I would have told you 2.5 years ago, yeah, you're gonna be playing a clown or you're gonna be killing people on screen, you would have been saying, yeah, I don't think so. But now here you go, and not only are you doing all that, but now you're helping to produce it as well to make it sure that it happens. Um, is one thing really surprised you is the how long it takes for a movie to get to the screen, isn't it?
Mhm. I could touch base on that too, because there's a lot of people. So Sean C. Phillips and Ethan Phillips, they're brothers, and Sean I worked with on previous sets, and he connected with me, and he wanted me to come out to California, and I said, if you come out to Vegas, I'll help you out in every way. And I'm familiar because I worked on these SAG sets. I know there's permits and proper paperwork and insurance and locking down the locations and getting the crafty and knowing if people have food sensitivities. All I know is if you go on a set and they don't have any of the paperwork, talent release forms, or crew release for any of that, run for the hills because it'll never get finished. And make sure people, if you're going to be a producer or anything too, make sure they have a spreadsheet so they have an idea of what the budget is. Because I've seen people go out of budget. I don't know where it went because I'm not part of that. I was only part of it as like an actress, but I've seen things not like they fell through. Whatever happened, they didn't do it right. And a lot of people will say stuff, but they can walk it. No, they can talk it, but they can't walk it, kind of thing. So pay attention to, because a lot of people are like, oh, can you help me? Can you help me? And I can't help. I like helping people. I do. I volunteered a lot. I helped out a lot, but at the same time, I can't get used, which you do get used in this showbiz. But I did like, and I do like working with Sean C. Phillips because not just in Desert Fiends, but we did Skate to Hell. And I was like, I would like to have this puke scene where someone pukes in my mouth and kind of like that Drag Me to Hell. So we had Eric Yoder set up something, and he was missing though. He's like, it's almost like those carnival, with the squirt gun, and you're trying to get it in the hole. Well, he was getting like, I was ready to come out, and so bring junk in there. And I said, Sean, I discussed it beforehand. I said, I would like to have real bugs and worms in my mouth for part of the scene. And so from way high, I'm laying on the ground, and my mouth is wide open, and he pours it, Eric, and I held it. I'm so glad I held it. And all I could think of, I could feel the worms and the bugs moving around. It's gross. I had 2 people puke on the set, and then I show people the glimpse of it, and they, like my sister-in-law, her name's Melissa Napoli, and she's like, I was sick for hours, Nicole. I can't see that ever again. So that's what I'm talking about, though, to step it up just a little more. So I really like working with Sean because he wants to step it up more, and he will take other people's ideas. He's not just like, oh, it's my way or the highway. He wants to work with everybody, and it makes it so much easier then to be on set and to be creative too for your own role and your own character. And I saw how he works with other people, and he's really nice and he's really kind as a director. So if they do get nervous, because people do, we don't really realize that until like sometimes it's too little, too late. And I'm like, oh no, how all of a sudden they're fine, and then they're not fine. They're like, I'm like, oh no. So practice, table read, acting coaches, and get to know the people you are with in the scene so you don't feel like that, so you don't get in your head. Sometimes there's tongue twisters, and sometimes I get tongue tied a little bit, so I have to make sure I.
But you learned how to slow it down.
Yeah.
I mean, before it was always 0 to 80, but I can see now that you've slowed it down. I mean, now instead of rushing to it, now you just kick back and let it come to you, because it is going to come to you. Do it, to whatever you do, whether it be a good script or a crazy stunt like that. You don't have to rush to it. Oh God, I'm gonna miss out. I'm gonna run to it. No, if you let a director know you're willing to do something like that, and it's safe, and it's it's gonna look cool for the movie. Yeah, I'm down for it. I'm okay for it. You have learned to say yes, which is probably the biggest thing I've seen in watching you evolve during the last 2.5 years. You have gone to saying yes. Hey, how about jumping off the bridge? I'm down. Is it safe? Is there, yeah. I want you to publicize this movie for me. Can you publicize it? Not a problem. I'm on it. Next thing you know, you're doing a show. I mean, and produce. Can you help me get some? Can you help make this movie work? Yes, I can. I can help you. I can't do it all by myself because no producer can, but I can help you. And I can do that. So you've gone from saying no to saying yeah, and it's showing.
Thanks.
And the movies are coming out. Desert Fiends and Skate to Hell. Um, Boy, they've taken a while to get to the big screen, but they
About a
have.
year and a half for Desert Fiends. So we finished it April of 2023. So a year and a half. But so the distribution part's very expensive too. I don't think people realize. Like at first, we gave Sean and I gave really good deals to people, but we can't give like ultimate deals if they do a pay to play, which is helping their career too, and it's helping them be with other talented other actors. No better way to learn on set. I mean, hands-on experience right there and then, which is really cool. But if they want these ultimate deals, it won't work out because distribution alone was about 14,000. The red carpet's pricey. It just adds up. And then if it comes to fruitation, it's good. I would love to do the conventions with some of the mutants because they're very entertaining. I don't want to give away exactly their mutations until you see the film, but we will be hearing from Gravitas. The release date will be at the end of this year, as far as we know, from what the emails say. But we're doing a red carpet event with the director's cut. I got permission from Gravitas because now that we signed with them, we have to go through them for everything.
Yeah, yeah.
All the DVDs, the posters, everything we do, PR work.
Gravitas has stepped up in the last year. I've seen a lot of their projects come across here now. I've already interviewed two people that already had Gravitas features, including one tomorrow. So it's interesting to see the movies that they are promoting because mostly they were doing independent dramas. Mostly they weren't into horror. They weren't really much. Gravitas Adventures, no, not too much. A lot of good small indie dramas. They used to do that. Maybe some romantic comedies. But as far as straight horror goes, horror comedy, not so much. But it has turned around a little bit. Now they're putting it out. People still want physical stuff. I mean, do you hear that a lot yourself, Nicole, when you talk among fans or peers or other productions? Do you hear that on the sets that they want distributorship, but they also want physical copies out? They want.
Oh, absolutely. They want their DVDs and they want to see it on the big screen themselves. They're waiting for, and they are do it. I feel they're owed it. Anybody that's part of the films or supported or wants to come see it, they can come see it. I open it up to the public too. So first come, first serve. So I'm not buying another theater. They love it. There's a cult following for horror. Even at the conventions, like I've been going to the Days of the Dead one, which I'll have a booth again in January. So I can sell the DVDs and the posters and then start, we're going to do the sequel for Desert Fiends too. So I'm really excited to have a sequel working with Sean. It's just, there's a lot of work behind it. So it's not just, it's like months and months, almost like a half a year. And it's the prepping and the campaigning and the locking down locations and getting the cast and the crew, and it's everything. It's nonstop because people are constantly messaging you, and you want to respond back as much as you can, as quick as you can, so people know that they're very important. Sometimes I miss messages because there was so much, and then people were getting nasty. And I said, I'm so sorry, I'm only one person. At the time, I was working full time on top of my family, and I wasn't allowed on my phone where I worked for like 8 to 12-hour days I worked. And I don't think people understood that I also was working full time and having a family. So I'm trying to juggle it, and I'm trying to explain people, and the process for everybody's different. So there's no.
You shouldn't have to try. That's you shouldn't have to try to explain it. You should just explain it. This is I can't do this while during this hours. And if people can't understand that, screw it. You know. Yeah. So I can definitely see bending over and helping out best you can, but you can't do it at the expense of yourself. Let me zip over to the chat because people are talking.
I can't see the chat. I couldn't even share it. I didn't even know. I can't even, if anybody has any kind of questions, I know a lot of people, they want to start their own first feature film. So I get a lot of that. Oh, can you help me? Can you do this?
Oh
I
yeah.
recommend. I have people even from like overseas, like, oh, can you help me support me? I
Well,
said, "Hmm,
there's a big difference between can you help me to like I can help you, but I'm not doing it for you. You know, I'm not going to do the work for you. I'm
help
not
me."
going to get you licenses. I'm not going to be your casting director. I will tell you how to go about doing these things because you have your own career to worry about. You know, if someone's, you know, if you have a film project you got to do, you can't sit there and say, "I'm sorry, I can't take the project because I'm helping these five other people make a movie." That's no. It's like here's what worked for me. This is what we did when we made this movie, and you can send a little outline and sit there and say this is what we did. Send it to them, and then read it, put it into play. If you have questions, but to sit there and say and ask them to have you hold their hand, that isn't realistic, and it isn't fair for them to do that for for any indie producer. You know, like indie producers, like you said, it's just one person. You know, it's not like you have a studio behind you with multi millions of dollars and huge
I wish.
PA staff. Right, right. Everybody wishes for
Yeah,
that.
the
But
dream. But there is steps. So when people and there's people before like, oh, can you donate? And I said, and I looked them up, and they hardly have any work, and they never even did a short film. They can't show nothing came out. I said, why should I give you money if you can't show you done anything? I don't care if it's
yeah,
the worst feature film you've ever put together. If you could show me you could do one, absolutely, because that work behind it and they've never done it before is such a workload that they wouldn't be able to. It would get dumped all on me, and I can't.
yeah,
I would burn
yeah.
myself out into the ground. And I do like helping people, and I like giving them areas to work on, like acting coaching or stunts, marking themselves. A lot of people, they could be talented, good for them. I'm not talented. I'm like I'm ambitious and I work really hard. Some people, they can memorize really quick and they can really get into the character and cry a river, and good job.
You're gonna
Uh,
get there. You are gonna get there. I know this. Look how
oh,
far you
you
already come.
do? Look at your. How do you know this? I don't even know this.
Yes, I did. Yes, I did. I told you. I told you when you first came on here. I kept on saying, "Oh my gosh! Oh, I could just see you as I just saw you as a. It's like I could just see you as being a perfect." And then you came on. Then you put pictures up there, and you had this black wig on there.
Oh, the
Oh,
black
you
one
look so.
with yeah,
Oh my.
reloaded too. So I had my Glock. Obviously, it wasn't loaded. And George Tundras reached out to me. He's like, "Oh, I'd like you to do this role." And filming from home is hard. Oh my god! I had the smoke machine.
Is that
All
suspense?
these things. Yeah, it was. But to be tough, and you get into this different,
Yeah.
and you just your mind. But I could do something like that because I had not a crime background, but I was in law enforcement. So there's command presence and there's a boss mentality. So it changes. But I can also be like this and not really, like see, I'm not, I'm showing timid. I'm not showing strong, but I like, I just finished
Well,
watching Vikings.
we want to see you do Sharon Stone.
Oh boy. Well, we'll see about those ones. No ideas. I
I'm
really,
telling you, it's gonna happen. I have to admit, I've heard, when when we, because even once in a while I'll poke you online and sit there and say, so have you landed a role yet? Because I love film. I love noir films. I
yeah.
love and I'm going like, oh, have you, when I saw the wig on there, I commented, see, I know you're getting closer to this. Now I know you still have, you're sort of like the Neal McDonagh of the women women actors. You're sort of like Neal McDonagh, and I totally respect that. I really totally respect that because I respect the hell out of Neal McDonagh. I think he's an amazing actor, and and he's known as a character actor when really out in reality is he's a leading man. But I think we talked about this before. But do you know why Neal McDonagh is not considered a leading man, and he's considered more of a character actor?
Why is that?
He won't do love scenes,
Yeah,
not
yeah,
ever,
well, there you go.
not ever.
I guess
He
I would make that match then, huh? Oh,
he has stated that he has lost a lot of leading roles because they want him, because they want him to do a love scene.
oh
Um,
my gosh, the
I- I-
doors would flood.
yeah,
It's
I mean, but I think,
cool. I don't.
but a good actor, they don't need to do a love scene in order to convey. the sensuality, the you know the deviousness. You go back there to the 40s and you watch some of those movies, and outside of the intimacy, you watch them how they interact, how they love the language, and they play the seductor or the seductress, and they didn't necessarily have to go in the corner and make out, but they could be so lethal. And
Tension.
I'm going like that. That she could do that. She could
I
do
would like to play something, but not to the extent where it's not tasteful. But I like those shows and movies that it's like
it.
forbidden and like someone's
Yes,
so tempted and they can't control themselves and they
yes.
lose their mind because guys do.
The
they,
girls do
they,
too.
they speak on the flesh a little bit. Um, but I wouldn't want to portray that way and then they don't know me. So when people come up to me, that's what they think I am. And that makes a can of worms for me. So I've been
Yeah, you know what though? Gosh, God, anybody that I mean, anybody who can't separate the artist from the role, I mean, yes, we saw some of the more famous femme fatales like Kathleen Turner, Sharon Stone, and Sean Young. But you know what? It's like it's just a role. It's just a movie. It doesn't mean that's who you are. It's just a role you play. I
we
mean,
know this.
everybody knows that.
No, they don't. There's people that don't know that. I've already been introduced to people that didn't know that. And I did as much as I could as much as I could break myself down and who I am as a person. Whatever they want to see, they're going to see. And it's really hard sometimes to break through a barrier because a lot of people that don't know you or you have like, I'm all done up today. They whatever's in their head. And you know what? Showbiz can be a little dangerous in that aspect. But I am looking forward to fun challenges and characters that could let me express and a little bit take charge of what I am cast in. So those are fun. Um, this one that's coming up, like handling weapons. I've been trained on weapons, like the Glock or the M60 and the M16. You can handle things. A little bit of stunt training, but I did like the clown role. That has been
Yeah,
so far. It has been my
I love the
favorite.
I love the picture. I love the picture. As a rule, I never post pictures like that advertising a guest. I never do. I mean, you can go through all my thumbnails, and I doubt you'll see anyone. But the reason I picked that one, well, because Brett was in it too. But the reason I picked that picture was, to me, it showed how far you've come since we talked last. I'm going, she would not have dressed like that at all during 2.5 years ago. She would not have done a role like this 2.5 years ago. If you would have told her like, uh, yeah, we want you to come in and do a low budget horror movie, there's just no way that was going to say yes to. But now here it is, and you got your feet wet. You're not afraid of it anymore. You're fearless. You're ready to tackle just about any role. I think it's cool as hell. Let me catch up to the chat because
I know
while
they're
we've been
so good.
talking.
I can't connect her. I've seen Dan and I've seen Steven and Lazy Tia and
Yeah,
Tom Baker. So if you can catch up with them,
yes,
um,
I will catch up
I
with them.
can't message. Somehow it's not letting me communicate on this.
Steven says, okay, so our friend Stephen Chang is here. Let's see. I think the bus stopped by, said hello. Yes, Dan is new to me. He is a publicist as well. He's a publicist as well as Stephen is. And Dan says, Nicole Butler Vegas has helped me several times. Thank you very much, Nicole. I'm glad Patrick invited you to a show. I've been looking forward to this. I hope you both have a great night. I appreciate it, Dan. I'm actually working through Dan. He and I will be bringing aboard Jason Covey and Matt Peters from Graveyard Shark later on during the month.
Ooh, that'll be good.
Yes,
I like
that's
Dan. I got to speak with him a couple times and gave him some things that I went through or pointers. And because if you're going to be a main producer, it's a workload. It is the mother load of it all because you are making sure no one's above you. You can't reach out to anybody else. It is you. And you have to make sure that things are done right because if you don't, as quickly as things are good that spread around, bad too, quicker
yeah.
than anything. And I want credible for the people that I work with.
Especially on indie sets.
Oh my God.
We both know this very well. Indie sets are They're always liquid. They're always flowing. Let's see. Let's see. Stephen mentions I praise Nicole a lot for a lot,
Thank
and I don't mind promoting Nicole. Nicole is she promotes. She's
you.
probably the best person I know that's actually been on the show. That's
Yeah.
remember she's also a publicist as well. Because you've done what I've done. You've done several interviews on your own thing. So you know about publicity. You know how to generate it. You know how to get it out. Do people understand how important it is, Nicole, about press? Is that one thing that you wish you could impress more on filmmakers is the value of press?
Well, I do talk to people individually when they ask and seek out information. I spend as much time as I can with them with any questions, as much as I can with what I learned. Because I wish I could have had somebody tell me what took me over 3.5 years to learn. Marketing yourself is the most important. Even if I don't have an agent, but if you get an agent, you're doing like at least 89% of everything. Because if you can't have your looks in order and a good charisma and good work ethic, and you're not approachable or you're not marketable, those agents are going to be able to help you. You
Yeah.
have to show you can do the work in many different areas. Make sure you're an asset. Yeah, I really want, as far as I know, want to be in front of the camera, but it doesn't hurt to be behind the scenes either. Learning how it runs there because it makes it easier for like the what are they, the grips, and you're like, they're like points. That means get the heck out of the way, there's a heavy equipment coming. Or depending on how they're setting up, is it a wide lens, what kind of lens are they using and set up on the camera. Make sure you're not stepping on people's lines and that you're not upstaging them. There's a whole know your marks. Also with lighting and stuff like that, show up in time. That's very important. And you got to put yourself out there, and no one's going to be able to help you. You have to help you, and you're going to have to learn it. And there's no cutting corners because you won't get there. As soon as you start cutting corners or not helping or sabotaging people, you will wonder why you're only there and you never grow. Teamwork, and it's very true. Teamwork, supporting others, and sometimes it might not be for me. Sometimes there's something going on. I'm like, oh well, I don't think it's for me, but I do know people if you want me to connect you to that, and that usually works out too. Being that middle person to connect people to the resources or the other people they need. It's pretty cool.
I like I'm going to come back to this because I think you sell yourself short here. Um, talk about the part about learning to do publicity. Because like I said, you did an interview show. I know that you do it. You still do it once in a while. You still do it once in a while. You have a Facebook group that's very active and very supportive, and it's private. Thank God for that. Thank you for that.
It is private, yeah. So it's just because there's too much garbage that goes through, and I don't want anybody to have to be exposed on my group, Nicole Vegas Views. And I know a lot of people message me tons, and I said I can't do it right now. If I could find a co-host, I would do it in person with the co-host, but I've been booked for a lot of things, and I
Right.
can't be there and then be there. I can't be two places at the same
Right.
time. So if I could find
No.
a co-host, and I talked to John Henderson, he does Doomsday Crypt, and I co-host with him. I enjoy stuff like that.
Well,
I
John's good
can't
at it.
fully do it. I can't do that on top of being an actress and a family, and then putting together another feature film and a record. Something has to give.
What's funny? It's sort of funny, and this is in a really good way, but it's really funny. It's like how John got Brett and Beatrice, and he launched those two podcasts with them. And every week they get out there and they talk and whatnot and interview people and talk. And it seemed like, honest to heaven, it seemed like they were out there so much every week that all of a sudden it sort of like relaunched them a little bit. It's like, wow, because now they're so busy again. Now they can't really necessarily do the show on a weekly basis. Because Brett Wagner, I said this too. I told this to Justin. Brett Wagner's a natural. I don't know why he doesn't have his own show. He's a natural speaker. Brett is one of the nicest guys and is a great interviewer. Great interviewer.
He's a solid guy, solid talent. He's trustworthy. I keep contact with him. He's always at conventions too. He works hard, and he's really good to his people, just like Lee Wydell. Very good. Lisa Wilcox, very good to their people. Like they are really truly for their fans and connecting to other people. I love that. Do you know when you go to those conventions, there's some kind of phenomenon where I'm seeing like the talents interact with their fans or the guests that are there. It's so special. It's so special when I see
Oh,
that.
now,
And
now, have you said you worked the table down now? What was it like for you to work a convention for the first time?
it can get busy. Last year was more busy where I couldn't step away from the table. Like I couldn't, like I was like, I'm gonna go to the bathroom and I get like a couple of feet and I couldn't. Um, a lot of people know me in Vegas, so it's a lot easier for people to be there and show up and support. It's funny because they're like, "Oh, how much are your pictures?" And I said, "It's your lucky day. It's free."
Oh wow, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, eventually, if stuff comes out and they're like, "Oh, Nicole, if you don't charge, they won't take you seriously." I was like, "Oh my gosh!" It's like they always have this pressure and stuff like that.
That's not
I
true. That's
feel,
not true. You know what? Whoever told you that was wrong.
yeah,
Nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with giving away for free. People will remember you for that kindness. People will remember. Now, some conventions, on the other hand, they won't let you get. They won't. They don't like you if you do give it away for free because you're undercutted the talent. You have to. Some conventions will make you sign a contract saying that your prices can't be cheaper than the main artist. It sucks, but it happens. Uh, and you can't give away anything for free within the building. Outside the building, have at it. If you happen to be loading out and people come up there, they want free posters, no problem. Inside the building, yeah, that sort of sucks. And to me, it hurts the overall experience because there are a lot of actors that maybe this is their first convention, maybe they only have 3 or 4 movies on their docket, and they're promoting those. Not very many people are going to walk up to somebody they really don't know and ask for a $35 signed autograph. They're just not going to do it because I don't know who you are. But if you can get away with giving it for free, they're gonna talk about your convention a hell of a lot more, saying I went to that convention, I got some free autographs, and they'll be back the next year. But promoters like that, they just don't, it goes in one ear and it stays there because they're just too rock headed to understand that. That's
I
what I was talking. See, I'm talking. That's what I was talking about. See, you understand that as being a publicist yourself, you understand the value of giving away something for free. Here, it didn't cost you anything. Maybe it cost you a little bit for the headshot, but the goodwill that you generate and your name recognition and your footprint, because they go home and they put it on Instagram, like, look what I got. I got a picture of Nicole Vegas, and they'll talk about it. Your footprint grows. You understand that. You understand that. You should give classes in that. Uh,
baby
yeah,
steps, baby steps. But I do. I like helping and putting a spotlight. I know that I'm going to circle on to Brett Wagner. He like hosted. It's called I think the making of a horror documentary by Frank. He's been circulating that around, so it's like behind the scenes of the conventions, which is pretty cool. Um, and I think there's so many different areas to explore in showbiz. So if someone's not fully happy in one particular area, they don't have to stay there. They can explore other areas. And yes, it's going to be uncomfortable and it's going to be hard because it's unknown. And you work at it until it becomes known. Work so hard and be straightforward with people. Even if they didn't like to hear the answer, at least they know
right.
that's
What you
what it
said.
is. It's not like razzle dazzling or misleading people. I don't like misleading people at the slightest. I like integrity and being very truthful and upfront of whatever they're asking. This is what's going on. And if it's different in some way that I'm saying, please show me what it is that is true then, which hasn't happened. But if there is something that I'm missing, please bring it to my attention because I wouldn't know. Like I'm always doing something based off of the experience or what's going on at that moment in time. And I think being able to talk to people really helps in showbiz. There's too many people that are too shy. I think that's because they need us to learn about themselves and they have to have some self growth and awareness. And I think that takes time and put yourself out there. So if you want to know people, just like you put yourself out there. You
Yeah,
connect with people from all around the world. And there's some really remarkable people, isn't there? Like
yeah,
there's so many different levels of this beauty and talent and kindness and work ethic. And just connecting, because people want to be connected, and it's not just here in the States. There are so many people that want to come here to the States to do films, and vice versa. I want to go to UK to do some films. So we'll see
Hey,
how that
yeah, just stay away from Louisa Warren.
goes. No, I'm like, who's that? I will listen.
Yeah, if you see Louisa Warren, come run, and tell her I said so.
Oh, no, no,
So I
I'll
think
be
that's
like, stay away. No, thank you. I don't need
uh,
any hard lessons. I had some hard lessons. And I think even if you have a contract, it doesn't mean they're going to be on their end abiding by your contract. I've had,
yeah.
not me personally, but I've had people have it happen to them. And now I wonder why some talent want half up front because they got burned.
Mm.
There's some people that never
Oh
got
my
their
gosh,
pay yet.
yeah.
Or there's people that bought perks and never finished paying. There's so many people that I was like, oh, I want to blast them so bad. And I give them opportunity. I give them like a month time to correct themselves, make things right. And then if you see me blast somebody, it's because they really are. They're not good. They're a dirtbag.
Yeah, you know what? It's funny. I saw that. Let's talk
Oh, there's a
about
whole
that for a
bunch of
little
ones.
bit.
Which one? There's two that I really want to say right now, but
Okay.
I have to
So,
hold off.
so
I don't.
good thing though. I'll help you open the door a little bit because that is something that we could talk about too. Because I think we touched on it briefly, real briefly. But this is my 2 cents on the pay to play. I personally do not like it. I don't agree with it. That's just
Tell me
me.
why. And I'm going to
Uh,
tell you why I like it.
the reason why I don't like it is it's well. See, I first saw it in when I worked in music down in Los Angeles. The pay to play is not new. It's not new. It's not a new game.
Mhm.
Um, back in the 50s, they had the radio scandals called payola, and that's basically where the record companies were paying the radio stations to play the records to make them a big hit.
Mm.
So it was being unduly influenced, like by that way. A lot of people that wouldn't have been stars, they weren't that good, but all of a sudden now you play the record, 20
Yeah.
out of 24 hours, they become famous. Um, Pay to play, same thing with bands. A lot of times they would have to go down and have to sell tickets. They have to go down there and sell tickets in order to get a gig. They were talented, great bands, but the club owners wouldn't let them come in unless they sold a certain amount of tickets. That's not necessarily a band's job to sell tickets.
True.
That's a club's job, that's to go out there and promote with the band. If your club is all that, you need to promote. You had to promote your band, your club when you first opened the doors. You weren't making bands pay when you first opened your doors. So why are you making them pay now? 10 years later. Um, so as far as the acting goes, to pay to play, one, because you're not getting talent. I don't mind they want to come out and get killed by their favorite actor. If a famous actor comes up there and like Kane Hodder, if he wants to come out there and kill me and I paid $500 for that, I'm golden with that. But when they suddenly start taking over speaking roles that working actors auditioned for and were assigned. They were like, yeah, I'm reading for this role here. And okay, we're going to cast you in this role. But then some guy comes in there with a $1,500 perk, and all of a sudden that actor suddenly loses their role. And to the guy who does the 1,500, yeah.
I've
I've seen
experienced
I've
that on
seen it. I've heard that story way
I've
more than you realize.
experienced that part working with Sean. So you get it. So you're gonna pay for acting lessons. You're gonna pay for reels. You're gonna pay for SAG. You're gonna pay for stunts. You're gonna pay for PR work if you don't know how to do it on your own. I don't believe in someone paying and then or someone being cast and then someone paying for that role. I never seen that. Maybe that could happen. I haven't seen that. I
Yeah.
wouldn't let that happen on the set that I worked with Sean. I would be as being a main producer, they get their role and they do your I told them, I said, go and find out, I can't do all your work for you. It'll show the names on the IMBD and then message them and do some table reads. If you don't feel confident, go get an acting coach, even through Zoom, just to get comfortable and everything like that. Because that is their work ultimately. Um,
A lot of people just want to come in for the experience.
that's true. So
They want to come in, they pay $1,500. They're not looking for a career. They're just looking to like say, hey, I got in the movies. And look at here I am. I'm not, now I'm doing a scene opposite of Nicole Butler Vegas.
Yeah.
That's really what it is. We're doing really, I mean,
I
I,
hope they loved it. You feel like-
but think about how hard it is for you. It already is a difficult,
No
it's already a
pressure.
difficult
There's
job
pressure.
already. You have to know your role. You have to study for it. You worked hard for it. You've gone to classes. You paid all your dues, and now you're being told you got to act against somebody like me who knows nothing.
Well,
Don't know how to say my lines. Don't know how to put inflection in it. Don't know not to look at the camera. And here
so
you are. You're a working actress. You're a working actor, and then you got to deal with that.
I did. I have done that.
Yeah.
So if I'm in a scene with you and you do have lines, we do a rehearsal. And like even when I had something where I broke somebody a bottle over someone's head, he's like, "This." I said, "No, you're gonna drop to your knees and cheat to the camera. You're not gonna look in the lens." And so we do a rehearsal. And like if someone's like supposed to be angry in the scene with me and I don't feel it, I'm like, "I don't believe you. I want you to think of something that made you so angry, and then you're gonna channel it to me." I said, "I'm not gonna take it personally." I said, "But I have to believe you, or it's not a believable scene." And you don't want to be caught acting. I've done it. I got caught acting a whole bunch of times where I'm overdoing it, and it just happens. I was like,
Yeah, but
"Oh
that's
yeah."
horror though. But that's horror movies, Nicole. You can get away with that during horror movies. Let me pop over here. Let me pop over here real quick.
Yep.
About doing horror here. Let's see.
Horror convention. Yes, Dan. Yes.
Yep. Heard is a down to earth producer. I know her. Um, let's
So I
see.
love her. He loves
Yep.
me.
Let's see. Stephen Chang says you're the current Marilyn Monroe.
Oh
Um,
no, I'm okay with that.
yeah.
I didn't hear it. Thank you, but
Let's see.
I would like to be more like of my background. I don't know if a lot of people know my background.
Yeah. Yeah. Nicola is she's a straight shooter. Um, as well, not so much straight these days. Now she's a lot more fun. That's for sure. But
Yay!
when we first met Nicole was like, I'll play a cop, I'll play a doctor, I'll play a military person, and that's it. But now she's playing killer clowns.
Yeah,
Yeah.
a little puke in my mouth. Had a
How do you
teeth
let
coming
me
out of my hair. I got
how do you
braces. What the hell, huh?
how do you like playing horror roles? I mean,
I
in horror
love
movies,
it
how do you like
because
it?
I like the creativity. Like I liked like Waxworks 1 and 2, and I liked Evil Dead 2, and I liked Stay Tuned. I like that like imagination because in horror, I mean, you could really bring it out and you could make it as gory and gross and terrifying and crazy and all of it in between. I mean, you can go from here to there and back again. There's so much unpredictability if you do it right. Or like the character of Saber Sparkles, people like when they saw it, people were messaging me like, "I wanted to get killed by you." I'm like, "I'm done. I got pimped out for I was like, "I'm done. I'm not doing anymore." I was like, "Go pimp out somebody else," because that's a lot of work too. Because then they're paying, and then you got to make sure. And I'm aware that they're paying to make sure
Mm.
that their scenes get done right as much as I can. I mean, it's still the editor, the cameraman, and the sound guy and the director making sure they get the scene completed with whatever angle they need to get it done. But I want to make sure that they enjoy. If they want to be killed by me and they want it bloody, I mean, I would take it to whatever level they wanted, as long as they were comfortable. It wouldn't be me uncomfortable. It would be
It's a,
them.
but you don't mind? Do you mind knowing that? Because you worked on CSI before, you worked on some bigger TV shows.
Yeah, it's
They have been staffed by like a legitimate, like there's like 500 people working on that show. Now you go out to the desert, and now you're working with a crew of maybe 20. Um,
less.
what? Maybe maybe 20. All depends if everybody shows up. But what's it? How has it been like? How's it been for you? I just want to talk about you. I don't want to talk about anybody else. I want to talk about you. How has your acting changed from 3 years ago, 2.5 years ago to today? What have you realized about your acting? Do
Oh,
you feel like do you feel like you have improved as an actor despite doing lower budget horror, or do you feel like you're just having more fun and you're really happy about that?
so you really hit a lot of good points with. So when you're in a SAG set, they're really strict. Can't miss an other thought. If they give you lines, which they'll probably edit me out anyway. I was like, what the heck? I said, I don't. Now that I'm SAG though, they can't. So I'm protected by the union. Make sure you know this. No, for the independent ones, to have more leadway and a little bit more fun, like a little bit more view, and to bring it into that character, it's I like the creativity. Like, in Desert Fiends, I was able to have something happen to me, but I shared with Sean, I would like this to happen, and Sean made it happen. I don't want to share what happened to me in Desert Fiends, but the same guy was with me then in Skate to Hell with that puke scene. He did it. He puked on me. And then also I paid him back in Clown Motel 3, where he met his end with me. That's what he gets.
That's right.
It's so funny. He's such a good talent too, and professional. And I'm glad I got to. I think he would like worry about anything I do now, because like when we had to do the stunt training, and he grabbed my hair and I'm fighting and he turns me around and does something to me, or that other scene. We work it out. We block it out and we talk it over and make sure we're both comfortable with whatever we're doing. Because if not, then you'll be able to tell on the camera. Like if someone's
really couldn't do that on a bigger budget role a movie, can you? I mean,
nothing.
one thing you mentioned too, which I really liked. I really liked what you said earlier. You said that when a director will direct you. Do you feel that today, in today's, even in a lower budget horror film, you still like to be directed, right? I mean, you still, you could you could go out there. I mean, you could go out there, you could do your character the way you see it, but what if you're just not feeling it, and you want that director to come up there and give you some guidance?
Please, I beg for direction.
Do you think that part of directing is still with us, or do you think that's sort of gone away, where directors are just more interested in getting the shot done more than helping you grow?
There's both. And I'm letting you, I shared with somebody that, hey, you weren't there. I would have liked some redirection, or if I was doing it right, because I can't see. So no, especially on a lower budget. I expect a director or AD or somebody to be like there. So there's some things I had to learn. I want a director there. I want them to be like, because it's their vision regardless. Yeah, I like this, but how can you try it this way? And, I want to hear feedback, not just like, okay, we got it and that's it. I'm like, was it good? Was it not good? They don't care. Are they running out of time? Like, what is it? Every director is different. Some are really good and easygoing. Other ones were absent. Like, nothing, God. I'm like, hello.
Wow, really? The director didn't show up on a day?
I don't know. Without discussing anything, maybe showed up but wasn't present. So I like present.
Or they were present but not present.
Something like that.
They were there physically, but maybe they weren't there, elsewhere.
Or not really paying attention, just whatever. Maybe I don't know what's going on. I can't make excuses. But and the thing is, being a producer, I know how things should be set up too. You know the scenes that are coming up, the people that are going to be there, the spots, what lunches, all that. So when I go somewhere and I'm not seeing it, it's just red flag. So I am going to be extra careful. So whatever other things I signed up for, a good contract, if something changes where they want more, a different contract. Regardless if they go with the contract or not, at least I have something to show.
Yeah. Is it a good feeling knowing that you have a rate now? Before you hope to get paid. You would hope to get paid with a SAG card. You will get paid.
Yeah, that is true. Well, there's some people that still ask for free, and I've helped out for free, especially when I was in Vegas. But after this other set I was on, I can't anymore because of other circumstances. It's the principle of it, and like I said, I've been paying my dues.
Nicole, you have 34 credits. You have 13 credits as a producer. Your days of doing things for free.
Everybody told me that. They keep telling me that, like, Nicole, no, and I'm like, okay. Yeah. But I have to be careful and to get used. And so everyone's like, oh, can you just do a cameo? Can you just do this scene? I could, but you're not going to use whatever small name I have to because I'm on board. Then other people are going to join, and you're going to get money from them, and then you're using me. There has
Yeah.
to be some reciprocity. There has to be some kind of balance. And I know independent films are low budget. I get it, and it's a lot of work. I do understand the whole dynamics, but at the same time, like I said, if I can help out, I'll share or I'll do something. But the rest, I do have to be careful. And this is like recently developed that I have to be more aware of
Mhm.
not putting myself out there too much where I'm getting used and abused with it.
Yeah, you burn yourself out if you do that. I mean, if you know, being a yes person has a terrible price. I mean, if you say
Oh,
yes to you'll say yes to everybody, you'll just burn, you'll crash and burn. That's fine. That's why the word no is a powerful word.
I'm learning. Went to this, even though if you're not spiritual, I went to this like Odyssey, some kind of thing where I got my aura picture, like it shows you your aura, which I always wanted to do. And I was like a rainbow. So I had the white, black, red, orange, pink, blue, I had the whole thing. And she did it. And Nicole, you've been learning how to say no lately, haven't you? Like she didn't even know me, but I was like, yes.
Yeah.
People that even know me. Yes, person mostly a people pleaser. I feel bad. It's hard enough in this world, so I get a little like, and I know people could prey off that. I got it. I got it. I'm learning. Um, but also, unless people are actually helping out other people or putting spotlights on other people, because I've seen people, it's all about them and they want all these people to help them, but they've never wanted their way to support other people or do
Yeah.
anything. And it's clear as day for them. So I'm staying away from that.
Yeah.
I want team players. I want people that get it and that also contribute. Like, hey, this would be a good idea. Okay, let's work on that. Let's collaborate. Let's do something that could be a team building because there's too many people, especially where I live. It seems like once someone does good, other people that were in that group that maybe they're doing a little bit more, they're not supportive, and sometimes they get very cynical or sabotaging. It's really bizarre, and so you're going to know the more you change and you grow as an individual or as an artist, your circles probably won't remain the same, unfortunately.
No.
You
No.
outgrow certain areas and you have to go with it, even if you want to stay behind. If you want to stay behind, then that's where you're going to be. If you're in that clique, good luck, because that's where you'll be. You're not going to grow because you're not connecting and you're not participating with other people and other productions. So
Let's see. Try and come back here. Let's see. Larry says Kevin Eastman of all people used to do a free auto and charge 20 after that after the first one. Yeah, that's a good deal. First autograph for free and $20 afterwards. I love that. Dan mentioned making a horror conventions and filmmaking review documentary. That would be actually be a by I guess that's by Frank Polsini.
I'm in
That'd be
it.
a good one. That would be a good one to watch.
Yeah.
Tom Baker says uh, it's about focused, having a clear vision, finding similar creative people, making a movie together.
Mm-hmm. I
Says,
agree.
let's see. Steven says that he's helping promote Clown Motel 3. Tom says, I love the magic of movies. Me too, Tom. It's about collabs, let it be a big movie or a short movie on YouTube. Yeah, collaborations are a wonderful thing. Yeah, I wish I could do more of those. I enjoy doing collaborations. I love it myself. Tom, being a producer is also making tough decisions. If an actor isn't right for the part, replacing the actor or crew members. Yeah, that's
I had to do that too. I had to. We had
mhm.
to fire two different people on Desert Fiends and on Skate to Hell. Liabilities too. Not good. And there's things that happen that you would never see coming. You're like, oh my goodness, what's going on here? And
I always thought you guys were like, I always wondered how, I wonder how it was always like to play, like, okay, I'm going to be honest with you. I'll talk because it's somebody who you worked with too, but I always wondered how anybody could, to book someone like a Tom Sizemore. Now, Tom Sizemore was once a great, fantastic actor, but his everybody knows what happened to him to the latter half of his career when he had that downward spiral. But he was still getting cast in movies because his name still went on front of the DVD. But I have to sit there and wonder, like, okay, we have to get a famous person in here. but at the same time, it's like how many times did a producer or director hold their breath waiting for him to come, and would he be sober? Would he be able to sit and do the work? More often than not, and more often than not so much.
So
But
I met him a couple times, and the first time I absolutely hated him. Hated him. I was like, no. I'm like, whatever came out of his mouth, I'm like, but the second time, better experience, and he was easygoing. He wasn't flustered. He didn't get enough sleep though. Seems like whatever was going on. And at first, I was like, I'm not going on the set. I didn't have a good time, but I'm glad because the other two times made up for that really bad time. So I'm glad I had last good experiences. And yeah, he did have a lot of issues. That was really sad. When I saw him last, like we were thinking about casting for Desert Fiends. I still have his text messages on my phone. And he really wanted something really serious. I could read it to you too.
yeah, I
Yeah, it
actually,
was so sad. It was just sad.
I was there when you were doing an interview with somebody, and you were talking about that, and they were asking you questions, and you were talking about your experience with Tom. And I mean, I was just like, to me, it's like that's somebody who, on one hand, you sit there and go like, man, Tom Sizemore, but what actor am I getting? Am I getting the Heat
Look at that.
actor?
See
Am I
that?
is that you?
That's the last of his thing. It was just like this was in when was the last I talked to him? February 11th. February 11th of 2023 was the last text messages that we went back and forth with, and then that happened. So that's the thing too. There are a lot of talents, and I think when you have other talents come on that worked hard and have names, even though this industry's tough, huh? Things
Yeah, it
happen,
is.
and boy, you make these choices, and it could be lifelong lessons, and you can't get out of it. Your behavior changes, everything changes from it. And it was sad because people will just get used for their name. They doing this, so you better get paid for it, huh? Because they
Yeah.
will take you and they will screen you out, and you better have something to show then instead of oh yeah, I'll do everything for free.
No, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
That's why I'm saying you can't do that for free. And we've seen this before, where actors will come in there for a day or two, just enough to get their name on the cover of the DVD. And it's like, and it's like it's like they barely have any scenes. You're just trying to get them through what you want. That they can't carry the movie. You know that. A lot of times, I know on one studio how they used to handle working with a couple of actors like that, was they shot all their scenes in a single room by themselves.
safer, probably
Yeah,
safer,
yeah.
less
So
distractions.
they would play the president, or they play a military officer, and they had no other role. They had no other interaction with another actor. They were just sitting there talking to a screen, like, we need to do this, or you need to, but there weren't any actors in the room with them. They
Yeah,
didn't, they couldn't
that
act because
happens.
they weren't in the shape to act against some acting partner, a scene partner.
Well,
Man, that's
and there's
rough.
ones that they'll just do improv. They can't memorize. It happens even on bigger sets. So even though people are like, "Oh, well, if you don't memorize, blah blah blah," well, I was like, I know a lot of people that don't memorize, or I know nepotism. I got it. I like there's so many different, like I said, but I do like meeting some of the talents, and some of them, that's their life. This is what their passion. They love it. Like Eric Roberts, he was so nice
Oh
to his
God.
fans on set, and he's doing the Dancing with the Stars, which he has to be in pain. There is no way he can't not be in pain because that's a lot of movement. And he had an injury before, but he's always showed up and he's always done his job. And just like with like Tom Arnold, he was on our set. I didn't know how he was going to be. I was like, oh, and he enjoyed it. He goes, Nicole, I've been on these really big sets with lots of money, but they treated me bad. And he goes, I've been on these little sets like yours, like little sets with little money. I'm like, little money. I had a soft kidney or two. I was like, and he goes, I'd come back anytime. You treat me really good, but it's not just treating somebody that has a name good. It's treating everybody good because someone could be a PA one day and then the next day producing their own film.
Yeah, you
I
never know.
Yeah, you don't know. So I see people like, oh, who's that? Oh, unless they want to get to know them, and usually people want to get to know producers and directors. That's how it is because those are the ones in casting directors. They want to be in film, so they will seek them out first. But then I see how they treat other people. I pay attention a lot how people treat people. And there's some people that, they are, and that's okay. They're just in it for themselves. And that's what they'll get, right? Whatever they got. I'm not going to extend my arm out to someone that is like that, though.
Yeah.
I want to work with people that want to put in work and they understand that it's a lot of work and you can't be done till it's officially done. That means distributed, officially done, and maybe going to conventions with the mutants because I think they're great for photo ops. They were so much fun. If you see the movie, and the second one that we're doing is going to be really focused on the mutants. So I am
Let's talk about real quick. I want to talk about 3 movies real fast.
okay.
While I have you, tell us where Desert Fiends and Skate to Hell are as far as domestically. Now we already know Desert Fiends has got a distributor with Gravitas. What about Skate to Hell? Has it got a distributor yet?
Right now, they're going to work on that next year. It's just about finished, but the distribution part with all the paperwork and money, there's no way I could campaign for Desert Fiends 2 and also work on Skate to Hell. I would go mad. I think Sean wouldn't handle it. It's too much work. So when we get done finishing in April, I think we're doing the first 2 weeks of April for Desert Fiends 2, which gives plenty of time. Right after that, then they can work on the distribution of Skate to Hell, which I think is even better than Desert Fiends because it's very creative. There's a lot of different people, moving parts, and fun. Like Desert Fiends is more horror than comedy, and this one has a mixture of both, but a lot of humor. I like the horror comedy. I like the humor. I like the kills in Desert Fiends. I thought they were pretty cool. Eric Yoder did a really amazing job with Monique. And they worked on Skate to Hell, and they worked as a team. And I enjoyed Guthrie, the sound guy, and Cameron, and his name's Nick, that the A1C, and Gary Sharples for the DIT. Just good people. And Kevin Gregg, Kevin Gregg is my husband that got thrown into this. Yeah, he's welcome. So when he did Desert Fiends, he committed to it. But the thing that happened was his dad passed. Like the day before he's supposed to pick up Tom Arnold, his dad passed. And his family wanted to come out, and he couldn't because he had these responsibilities to pick him up and take him and do all this stuff. And that was really hard. And I want to thank him for being there for me because, I am his spouse after 26 years of being together. But he got to see the workload behind it. And he did a lot of the paperwork with the distribution for Desert Fiends. He's been like a really solid rock with Joel Callison too. Joel Callison works with him, and we had Guillermo and Michelle. We started forming this really good team of people that just got to work and got it done. And it makes it so much easier and smoother. And eventually down the road, so not all non-unions get a bad rep. Like we made sure there was tons of food and drinks and people got there on set, and we had the film insurance. We made sure everything was done correctly. Though it is a lot of work.
Do you think non-credits get a bad reputation? I personally have only seen a couple of times where people have really expressed any really sort of resentment for that. But I've always thought that independent sets were a lot more fun than the big studio ones. Because the big studio ones, they're always have people there staring at you because you're spending their money. If you're not moving, if you're not doing something, you're wasting their money. With an independent set, it's more relaxed, smaller people, more of a family atmosphere, like we'll work together. Over here on a union set, sometimes it's like, hey, can you help me do this? It's not my job. It's not what I do. And I've always felt like independent movies seem to have a lot more fun in creating their art than big budget movies.
Well, it's the fact that if you don't have to have food on the set, it's a non-union. They don't have to have insurance. They don't have permits or the proper anything, talent release form. I've seen a lot of that. They just guerrilla style it. So SAG is you're responsible. They're made to be responsible. There's penalties. On the non-unions, like I made sure, like as much as I could, make it very familiar, like how SAG would be. And they got their meal like 6 hours into it, and they had snacks on the side and cocoa and coffee and hand warmers and all this stuff. I tried to make it, and the people that have been in it a while, I was like, oh, this is a really good crafty table. But there's a lot of people that are new that can't tell the difference. Like maybe it's their first set. They don't realize that it could be scarce. Um, yeah, there's things that happen and stuff with no I think accountability sometimes. And so and if that happens, people won't want to work with somebody again because of it. So I'm very strict with making sure things are done right and people are treated right and they feel safe and they got their part and all that stuff. So on my end, if as a producer, it's very tiring. Now, if I was just an
And
actress, but I do have to worry still because if I'm on a non-union set and I see other things that need help, I will step up and help just because I know.
now the last thing we'll talk about real quick about this one, you are doing a Mahal Empire movie. I guess Brandon Slagle is directing it.
I'm
Um,
excited because he did so good on Arena Wars. He did so good. I saw Wars, and they made it to that Paramount Plus. He just did so good. If it was anybody else, I wouldn't want to do it, but I'm excited to work with Brandon. Like
Brandon's he's a piece.
I can't
I know Brandon for years.
wait.
He and his wife are amazing people. Very,
I
very.
can't wait to meet him in person, and I hope his wife's on set too, so I can meet her. Yeah, I don't know too much. Maybe briefly in the passing of that red carpet event, but I know they worked really hard in this Alien Horde. I mean, for all the wardrobe and all the people and the locations, I commend them because it's a big set, and I know big sets are a lot of work, like around the clock. There's no
Now,
breaks.
are you
Yeah,
working as are you working as talent for this one, or are you
cast
there?
in it. Yeah, Michael cast me as Carly, and I'll be there for 2 weeks, and I'm in an Airbnb with a couple other people. So I hope I do well, and I get to chew gum, which I normally chew. I didn't chew it on this though. I'm a gum chewer.
You get to chew gum and kick ass.
Yeah,
And
that's
Brandon's
right.
amazing. I've been a fan since the Black Dahlia Haunting. That's a great movie, by the way. Pick it up. See, Tom says, I love actors, even lesser known actors are even lesser known actors, the character actors. I love character actors. Character actors are the bread and butter of Hollywood. But there's no movies without character actors. They're just not. Um, I don't. But see, here it is, 2.5 years later, and I don't see you as a character actor, even though
No,
you done. No, still see you as I did before. I still see you as a leading lady. Uh,
okay.
yeah,
Yeah,
and
a lot of people, they're putting the pressure on me, huh?
well, you know what? It all depends on, like you said before, though, and like you said last time too. It's about how comfortable you feel, how comfortable like. Because I caught that part of the interview when you were on John's show last week. You and Ashley were talking about how to do romantic scenes and how to prepare for it.
Oh,
And I remember last time we talked, that was the big thing was like again, like the Neal McDonagh thing. He says, I can do anything you want, but I won't do that. And I don't hear like last time we talked about it when I said, yeah, you should be a black, you should be a Black Widow, and you're like, hell no.
well, I mean,
You're like,
this is like
I'm never doing that. I'm never doing that. But now here it is 2.5 years later, and it's like I don't hear the same fire when that's said. And I think, well, you know what? I think as she grows as an actor, you'll do different roles. I mean, hell, Nicole, 2.5 years ago, if I would have told you that you would have been dressed up like a killer clown, you would have said, you know what?
yeah,
It was nice being here, but goodbye. You would not have believed me
like
if
I
I
know what
would have
you're
said that.
talking about. You're off. Yeah, but no, I
Yeah.
like that the opportunity presented itself. So, like, I did one scene, like my mouth was closed, sealed, and I didn't even know I was going to do it. He kind of dropped it on me, and I thought about real hard. That was for the Neil Breen movie, like
Okay.
closed mouth.
Right.
I kept on having to repeat over the
That's how
scene.
it should be. You don't need to do that other stuff. You just look. It's all about what appears to be,
Okay, I
right?
can do what appears. I just don't want to ever do anything more than that.
No,
I can put it on
no.
like no other as long as it's a safe scene and whoever I'm working with knows professionally that it's pretend. There's no
Right.
real sparks there. Uh,
And you also get to shoot them. Don't forget that. That's the part about playing a Black Widow. That's the part about playing a femme fatale. It's like I'm gonna. Did you ever see the movie? Did you ever see the movie Double Indemnity?
I didn't, but I'm gonna look it up. Double what?
Double Indemnity with
And
Barbara Stanwyck and Fred McMurray.
no, I haven't. But
There you go. Watch
yeah,
that. You watch that and ping me privately what you think of the movie.
oh, I will. I'm just looking forward to good opportunities.
Yeah.
And I am comfortable, like I said, as long as they give me a heads up. Like if they were like all of a sudden, like just do this without a rehearsal. I mean, I probably could, but not as good as if they gave me a heads up on something for whatever, because it's a lot of energy too. Whatever, if it's a passion or if you're killing someone, even pretend because, or you're fighting someone. Because when I did the stunt training, it's not like a regular punch. You got to put it further back so it looks like you're punching from an angle. And you got to be careful, and they got to know what they're doing too, because you don't want to get hurt and you don't want to hurt anybody else. Maybe I do. No, it's kidding. I don't. I'm just kidding.
See,
But I could though. I
I'm
could go super
telling you right now.
I would
Next
love
time,
a movie like that. If they want to make it about and I can come after somebody and whatever the intensity is, or when they do what's that stare?
the penance stare.
That stare, yeah.
Yeah, the penance stare. Uh, uh,
Yeah, whatever that stare is, or I think when the people show the above their eyes, it's supposed to show psychoness, and then down below it's supposed to be so Paco eyes, something with people that have that gap of white below their eyes. It's called Sopaco eyes, and they usually have like a destiny for nothing good. It's like something that's a, a fate of devastation. So if you ever see Sopaco eyes, I did a lot of studying with that kind of stuff, and there could just be nothing in the room. But if people could feel that energy, and it's mostly in the eyes too, you can give off a lot that way. There could be nothing spoken, and if you do things the right way with the right mannerisms and the tension that you're building between you and that other character or whoever else is there, I love like what are they going to do? Like you have all these options in your head. Like, are they going to go for it? Are they going
oh
to
my
back away? Like, what are they going to do?
It's funny because I just got done. I'm thinking right now. I'm thinking about De Palma. De Palma was a master of that, where he would have that one massive scene, and then he'd be following everybody's faces. There's no dialogue, it's just music, and he just follow. And you could follow his narrative by just following see the people's faces. And then I just recently saw a movie called Challengers, and it was like sort of like the same thing. It had this really fierce music on there, and all you saw was just the faces of the people involved, the three leads involved. Didn't say anything. You just follow their faces. You already know what was being said without them saying a word. Uh, I love that kind of acting.
Yeah, I
I
like
think
that
I think
suspense.
I think when it's done right, it's very, very effective.
I like that too. So I'm looking forward to new opportunities and challenges because I like challenge. I'm like, oh, can I do this? And then you put all the work in, like, oh, well, okay, I can do this. Can I do more? Can I give more? Can I be more? Can I let that actor too? Because I've had actors that were with me and they were very nervous, um,
Sure.
real sweaty, nervous, and I'm like, no, keep it for the scene. Let's make it as natural as possible because it's authentic that way. So in the scene, I just want people to feel comfortable. So I'm like, if I touch your arm or if I do something, I have permission to do whatever I want to do, like I say it in front of everybody, because sometimes it adds more to that role if it's allowed. Just like what are the roles where sliced the guy's neck and then I kissed him on the cheek and I'm laughing, and he was okay with that, or
Mhm.
there's another one. I don't know when it'll come out, but I like to smack guys over the head with bottles or people. I just like it. Not dragging him. And this guy
Uh-huh.
was a bigger guy, and I dragged him by his ankles. He was very heavy. It's like dead weight when you're doing by the ankles, but I did. They're like, oh, you're really strong. I was like, good. Know that. Know that somebody can actually
That's
handle
right.
a
That's
grown
right.
man
Yeah. Know that if you mess up, I'll do this again for real.
for real. And there's areas out in the desert that don't have
Huh?
caliche. Very soft ground out here. And there's alibis, and no one will miss you. Just kidding.
That's right.
I just
So
kidding.
see what I mean? That's exactly what I was talking about. I'm telling you, femme fatale. Next time you and I talk,
I know I can do that.
yeah. But I'm gonna have to wrap this one up. We have hit our mark.
We did.
Yes, and you'll be flying off in 2 days to shoot the
Alien Horde,
new
there's still time
Alien
to
Horde.
record, and it's going to be a good one.
It's gonna be fun. Brendan Slagle is a crackerjack director, and the Mahal brothers have really worked their ass off to establish a good name. And so Nicole's gonna go out there and slay it, and I can't wait for that. And it won't be 2.5 years before we talk again. I can promise you that. So.
Oh, goodness.
I'd like to thank the chat for coming out and hanging out with us today. I really do appreciate that. I see all you guys that were flying today. Thanks for coming in, Al. I see Al there, my buddy, my from the Midnight Society in the house. Tomorrow night, I'm going to put 50-50 that will be here tomorrow night. Our guest, Diana Garl from Nine Windows and the Serenade Charade. She's due to be here tomorrow night at 8 o'clock, but she also lives in Florida. And so we don't know what's going to happen. Even if she has power, I might postpone the show anyway, because I'm sure she knows people have been affected by the hurricane, and to have her come on to the show afterwards, I don't really necessarily think that would be in her best interest. And so I'll leave it up to her, but if she needs to have it off tomorrow, then we'll reschedule it. But you guys can come back on Friday, and I'll try to put this up on my community tab. I'll be on the road hanging out with the Mad Bloods and Mr. Dan, talking about The Fugitive. You remember The Fugitive, the 1960 show?
Yes.
Yeah, with David Jansen.
Yeah, it's been a long time though since I've seen it, so I'd have to watch it again.
We're going to be talking about it next Friday, this coming Friday. We're talking about the pilot episode.
This Friday, like in 2 days from now?
2 days, yeah. I know I got asked to collaborate on this. Like, oh, yeah, I know The Fugitive.
I'm going to go see the Terrifier 3 tomorrow.
Art the Clown is a horror icon, but you know what makes him a horror icon? You know why it makes Art so great?
Yeah, because he's playful and he took his time with his killing, or he really, it's like, he kills people and he doesn't like have a conscience over it. He's just no more.
Yeah, he has a conscience and he has a soul, because Art the Clown has one special ability. I'm sure people are tired of it. I'm like, dude, you have to say that every time you talk about Art. Yes, I do. So Art the Clown, what's really makes him really special, makes him an icon, is that he's a cat lover.
Oh, he's a cat lover. I better pay better attention. I wonder if it'll be shown in this Terrifier 3.
If you look at the first Terrifier, because I watched the first Terrifier and I saw David Thornton Howard, I'm going like, and I asked him that question. I said, I just got to ask one question about Art. He goes, okay. He says, is Art the Clown a cat lover? He goes, absolutely.
Awesome.
I'm fanboying out. Fanboy for life for Art. Art can do no wrong. Well, he cut a girl in half. Yeah, but he fed the outdoor cats. He's all right.
He's gonna be David Thornton, is it? He's gonna be in Billy Pond's Circus of the Dead too.
Yeah, I heard.
Yes.
Though, that guy's got to get out. He's got to get out there and show his face, though. I'm a little bit worried for him in the fact that he's doing all these movies without showing his face. And I just think that, it's not like he's not an attractive actor. He's fine. It's just like every movie that they do, they always want to throw a mask on him. And like, let the guy show his face. It's okay to do that.
Does he feel comfortable? Does he feel like he can get into character if it was without a mask? You know how some people like those props?
I'm sure he's fine without it. I mean, he does interviews without it with no problem. He does interviews. And I tell you one thing, our David, that guy is he's razor sharp. I wouldn't cross him. He is as far as the political angle goes, that guy is sharp as a whip.
Oh, I bet everybody has their If I skip along when it comes to all that. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna go over there.
Well, to separate this artist from that. but
Mhm.
he is very outspoken, and he's not afraid to speak his mind. But listen, I got to get out of here, so I'm going to get you out of
So
here.
much. I appreciate that. Stay tuned, and I'll share the heck of it. I couldn't find it
Don't
on
worry
my
about it.
phone when I was doing it, but thank you so much, and looking forward to letting you know if whatever your predictions and hunches are right in the
All
future.
right. So far, I'm on track. I'm on track. I know it's going to happen. I know it's going to happen. I want to thank the chat for coming out and hanging out with me. I am on my way over to the House of Horrors right now. You'll see him inside the chat, the Horror Freak 85. Type that in and then slide on over, and I'll be there in about a half hour. As me and Steven will be talking to director Joe Lynch. Hopefully so, in about a half hour or so. Nicole, thank you so much, and we will see you soon.
Yes.
Have a great night.